Dean Kannemeyer about his runners for Hollywood Bets Kenilworth on Saturday the 17th of February. Dean, thanks ever so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Starting out in race 1, you're sending out Explosive Speed, a 3-year-old Rafing gelding. It's a 1,000-meter work riders maiden plate. He's got William Bambiso on board. They've got the 6th draw. He's had 6 starts to date, and you're sending him out in the blinkers on Saturday. He's coming right down in trip here. What are you looking forward to from him?
Yeah, you notice I brought him down 1,000 meters because I don't really quite know what the horse's distance is. Shows natural speed back on, and the last time he ran, Craig Zaki rode him. He said, "Bring him back up the straight, 1,200 meters." But I went to I've gone for a 1,000-meter race. But the blinkers on him, and let's see. It's he's got top guy on, William Bambiso, and but you can never leave him out. But this horse is just, when I started with him, I thought he was going to be a very, very nice horse, fantastic mover. And but I just don't. It's one of those. Just know what's his right distance. But all is well with him.
And hopefully he'll tell you a bit more on Saturday.
Hopefully he will, yeah.
Race 3 is a 1,000-meter maiden juvenile plate for fillies. You're sending out Prom Queen, 2-year-old Gimme the Green Light filly, Craig Zaki on board, and the 5 draw. She's had 1 start to date at the end of January. She didn't have the best of first outings, but how's she doing since then?
Well, she was extremely green in her first outing. She hadn't galloped at Kenilworth, and we bought her ready to run, and I think everything was suddenly rushed to get into the slipper. So as I said to the owners, basically what I wanted to do, in 3 months I had to do in a month and a half. So it was a little difficult, and she had a good race. She was extremely green. She was all over the place. I think if she got a clear run, she may have run in the first 4.
Yeah.
So
interference.
These babies, some improve, some don't improve. At this stage, January, February. But she's a filly. I think the 1,000 will be okay for her. She's quick. She's quite a moody filly. But I'm expecting a good run from this filly. Quite competitive, but I wouldn't leave out the exotics.
Lovely. Well, here's hoping for a slightly more trouble-free run this time.
Yeah. It was a big field and all over the place. So it was. So she can only have come on with that.
Perfect. Race 4 is a 1,600-meter maiden plate. You're sending out Spelling Bee, 3-year-old Futura gelding. Craig Zaki's on board. They've got the 1 draw. He's got 5 starts under the belt, got a couple of places already, so this will be his 2nd run after gelding. He looked to be running on late last time. How's he doing at the moment?
Yeah, he's knocking on the door to win his maiden plate. We gelded him in his first run back. Was a very, very nice run, from a bad draw. He's well drawn on Saturday, 1,600 meters. There's always going to be a few maidens, but I think he's a horse that he puts it wholly together. He's got to be a good runner.
Race 7 is the 1,600-meter Cape Sea Stakes. You're saddling Enchanting Choice, a 3-year-old Rafing filly. Craig Zaki on board, 7 draw and 60 kilos to shoulder. She's had 6 starts, a win and 3 places. She put up a good run over 1,800 meters mid-January, and then she's run over a mile at the end of January. And you're bringing her down to 1,600 meters again here. So how is she doing?
Yeah, she's a filly. She's also been knocking on the door. Last run, she wanted to hang out, but Craig came into the straight, and he was one off, and he moved out for a run. But there was one guy in the middle of the course to the outside of the straight in Kenilworth, and all she wanted to do is hang drift across to that horse. And she's never done that before, but she pulled up sound, and so I'm going to say that run, below her best. Didn't work out during the running of the race, and don't leave out. That's all I can say.
Super. Then race 8, 1,600-meter class 3. You've got 2 for that one, starting with Roche Cadesh, your 4-year-old Vercingetorix gelding. Anthony Andrews on board, drawn 5, blinkers on, and 55 kilos. This is a really nice, super consistent horse. He also had the blinkers on last time out, and that seemed to help a little bit. So you've stepped him up to the mile here. What do you expect?
Yeah, running over 1,600 meters or so. What's his best distance? He is a Vercingetorix out of the Fort Hood mare, and last time he had a nice run down the inside. He was actually coming through. Lost his momentum because he had a clear run, and also remember green and black colours, that was starting just all over the place, you know, sort of came on to him, intimidated him slightly, sort of wasn't enjoying that. He's always there, you know, and I remember when Louis rode him over a mile, I think a Durbanville good run down Promontory, he ran just right up to them, 3 of them went through the line. There was Promontory and Promontory Jet. That was a good run at Durbanville. So, you know, a mile, one of these days I'll have to maybe try him over more, but we'll see what happens on Saturday over 1,600 metres, but he's always consistent. And he's a fit horse and you can never leave him out.
And stablemate Pardanom, 4-year-old Rafing gelding. Craig Zaki on board this one, drawn 8 and 58 kilos. 13 starts under the belt, 3 wins already, and which was back in 2022. He seems an interesting sort. He looks like he's given you some head scratching to
Yeah, you know, I haven't, stop go with him, and I gelded him, and then I ran him short of his best, which wasn't a bad run. And there was a bit of a break in between because from the last winter going into the spring, summer. And then I ran him straight into 1,800 after a bit of a break, which I think the distance is not a problem, but I think I just asked him to do too much too quickly over that trip. He won 3 races in a row, handicapped him up right up there. But he really did, he galloped well last week, and I think he's also put his act together, and all goes well for him in the running of the race. He's got to be he's got to be a horse that will be involved in the finish. But he's doing well back home. He's just got to put it together on the race course.